Active transport is the movement of molecules or ions across a cell membrane from a region of low concentration to a region of high concentration, meaning it occurs against the natural concentration gradient. Because this is an energetically uphill process, the cell must use energy to make it happen. This energy is supplied by ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, which releases energy when one of its phosphate bonds is broken. The energy released allows specialized membrane proteins, known as pumps, to change shape in a way that drives substances across the membrane in the required direction. Active transport is a highly selective process, as each pump is specific for particular ions or molecules. It plays a vital role in maintaining concentration gradients across the membrane, which are essential for many cellular functions. A well-known example is the sodium-potassium pump found in nerve and muscle cells. This pump uses ATP to move 3 sodium ions out of the cell while bringing 2 potassium ions in, helping to maintain the electrical gradient required for nerve impulses and muscle contraction. Other examples include proton pumps in plant root cells, which help the plant absorb minerals from the soil, and the co-transport of glucose in the small intestine, where sodium gradients created by active transport are used to bring glucose into the cells. Bulk transport refers to the movement of large particles, whole cells, or substantial volumes of material across the plasma membrane. Because these materials are too large to pass through protein channels or pumps, the cell uses membrane-bound vesicles to carry them in or out. Bulk transport is also an active process, meaning it requires ATP. The energy is necessary for reshaping the membrane, forming vesicles, and transporting them along the cell's cytoskeleton. Energy requirement, ATP. Both active transport and bulk transport require energy in the form of ATP because they involve moving substances in ways that do not occur spontaneously. In active transport, ATP provides the energy needed for membrane proteins, such as ion pumps, to change shape and push molecules against their concentration gradient, from areas of low concentration to high concentration. This process is essential for maintaining important cellular gradients, such as the sodium-potassium balance in nerve and muscle cells. Bulk transport processes, such as endocytosis and exocytosis, also rely heavily on ATP, because the cell membrane must bend, fold, and fuse to form or release vesicles. ATP supplies the energy for these structural changes in the membrane, and for the movement of vesicles along the cytoskeleton inside the cell. Without ATP, cells would be unable to import large particles, secrete substances like hormones or enzymes, or maintain the internal conditions needed for survival. Endocytosis and exocytosis. Endocytosis is the process by which cells take materials into the cell by forming vesicles from the plasma membrane. The membrane folds inward, surrounding the material and eventually pinching off to create a vesicle inside the cytoplasm. ATP is required for each of these steps, including the membrane's movement, the formation of the vesicle, and its transport within the cell. There are several forms of endocytosis. Phagocytosis, or cell eating, occurs when a cell engulfs large particles such as debris or microorganisms. This process is common in immune cells like macrophages, which use phagocytosis to remove pathogens. Another form is pinocytosis, or cell drinking, in which the cell takes in extracellular fluid along with dissolved substances. A more selective form, receptor-mediated endocytosis, occurs when specific molecules bind to receptors on the cell membrane. Once enough receptors are occupied, the membrane forms a vesicle containing only those targeted molecules, which allows the cell to take up substances such as hormones or cholesterol efficiently. Exocytosis is the reverse process, in which materials within vesicles are transported out of the cell. A vesicle containing the substance moves toward the plasma membrane, fuses with it, and releases its contents outside the cell. ATP is required for the movement of the vesicle along the cytoskeleton, the fusion of the vesicle membrane with the cell membrane, and the rearrangement of phospholipids during the process. Exocytosis is essential for many physiological functions. It allows cells to secrete hormones, such as insulin from pancreatic cells, and to release neurotransmitters at synapses, enabling communication between neurons. It is also important in the export of proteins made within the cell, the removal of cellular waste, and the addition of new membrane material during cell growth or membrane repair.